2016 marks the beginning of a new era for the Met Open Championship, and with 100 years of competition in the books, there's no better place to begin the next chapter than the spectacular Glen Oaks Club in Old Westbury, New York.
It's the 101st year. It's an honor for our club to host this, to have the best players in the tri-state area, amateurs, professionals, to come here and challenge themselves. And we like to think of this as we're kicking off the second century of the golf tournament. It's the oldest, most prestigious tournament in the metropolitan area.
With its newly renovated design and immaculate course conditions, Glen Oaks is the perfect stage to determine the 101st Met Open champion.
For this year's Met Open, I think what players can expect is really sporting conditions, firm, fast. In terms of green speeds, golf course superintendent Craig Currier is one of the best in the business.
I think they should expect some pretty penal rough, some quick greens, and hopefully the fairways are running. So I think, I think it's gonna, as far as major championships go, I think it's gonna be set up probably no different than any major championship the guys play on the tour.
So something unique for this year is we are utilizing the club's composite routing. So what that does is we do use the red and white kind of intertwine on the front nine and then use the blue nine in its entirety as the back nine.
Course starts out right off the bat, holes 1 through 5 are very difficult. So, right away you've got to hit, really good golf shots.
Yeah, so the first hole is going to play a par 4 for the Met Open, and we have 2 tees. It's either going to play 480 or 500. We added a new bunker on the left in the drive zone, which is like 305 to carry. It's probably one of the tougher approach shots too, so it's certainly one of the hardest holes, I think, on the front nine and probably on the course, especially to get started.
Once you get to holes 9 through 14, that is your best chance to make, as many birdies as you can. The 11th hole on our golf course for this tournament is going to be very interesting. Normally it's a par 5 for our members, and we converted it to a 300-yard downhill par 4 that's drivable.
If guys are hitting drivers and going at the green, I think it's going to be the most exciting hole to watch. It's 315 downhill. It's really risk reward. You got water left, right, bunker center left, bunker long. So I think it's going to be the ultimate risk reward hole, and that's the one hole I'm probably most anxious to watch.
17th hole is a 230-yard par 3 down the hill with the lake left.
Usually the wind is into the wind. I would have to say that's probably going to play as the toughest par 3 for the championship, and the guys are going to earn their par on that hole. 18 will be one of the harder holes too. It's 465 from the back tee. It's probably one of the most severe greens, and you're hitting to a really elevated green. If you don't challenge the water, you're going to have a tough lie hitting into it with the ball above your feet. So it's 18 is going to be a hard 4 to win the Met Open.
Glen Oaks will certainly offer a comprehensive test for competitors, as they'll be forced to adapt to its diverse layout.
So qualities that I look at for a player to be successful on this golf course, well, first and foremost, it's going to be set up long. So I think driving accuracy is going to be very important, as well as distance. The rough here is incredibly penal, puts a premium on accuracy. And a golf course that's going to play at 7,100 yards at a par 70, I think you just need to be able to hit shots from the fairway and control the spin on the golf ball.
I think it sets up for the all-around player. You have to drive the ball well. You have to drive it in the fairway. You have to control your irons. You have to be, very good around the greens. Glen Oaks is a type of course that we don't have just rough around our greens. We have short grass around some of our greens, and you get various lies.
Glen Oaks has a lot of movement on the ground. Once you get up around the green, you can hit a good shot, and if you spin it a little too much, it'll be coming back to you. So you need to control that as well as you can, and keep the ball in the fairway as well, because the rough is generally very healthy, very thick.
This year's field of 147 competitors is one of the most talented Met Open fields in recent history. 18 past champions are vying for another chance at the title, alongside the best professionals and amateurs that the Met area has to offer. 54 holes over 3 days will determine whose name will be etched onto the trophy alongside the Met Open greats.
I think some players to look out for. I'd start reflecting on last year's playoff in the 100th playing of the Met Open at Wingfoot with Ben Pollan, who eventually became the champion, and then Tyler Hall. 2 great players playing exceptionally well.
Winning the tournament is as I experienced last year, is really something special, and there's only been a couple guys that have done it back-to-back, and my boss, Daryl Kessner, is one of them. It'd be really cool to join him in that category.
From the amateur ranks, I'd look at guys like Cameron Young, just won the Ike for the second straight year. Stuart Hagstead coming off a hot Met Amateur.
What he did at the Met Am was very impressive. At Deepdale, everyone's really proud of him as well. I played with him a few times this summer, and his game's looking sharp.
Playing incredibly well, qualifying for both the U.S. Amateur and the U.S. Mid-Am, and then also being named to the New York men's state team this last week. In terms of some other professionals in the area having great summers, I would look at Rob Labritz, who played very well and won the Westchester Open at Glen Arbor. As well as Mark Brown. Mark Brown played very well the last time we were in this neck of the woods. 2013, beat Cameron Wilson in a playoff across the street at Old Westbury. Mark having a great summer, having qualified for the PGA Championship at Baltusrol.
The 101st Met Open at Glen Oaks promises to bring yet another year of excellent competition to the championship's already impressive history.
The golf course is pretty simple. It's right in front of you. There's nothing hidden. And it's the person who can really, handle all aspects of the game.
I mean, anybody can take it, and the low man wins.
For full coverage of the Met Open, visit mgagolf.org, and during the championship, follow us on the MyMGA app and on our social media channels for live updates.